Gestella sits with an air of mystery as Kayden pointedly asks, "Do you happen to know something about it?" Gestella confirms with a chilling yes, hinting at a deeper purpose. The scene shifts to Jiwoo, looking bewildered as Gestella explains, "It's to fulfill a long-desired wish." Jiwoo repeats the phrase, "a long-desired wish?" his expression etched with confusion and a dawning unease. Gestella reveals that the top 10 individuals each have their own desires, and those who recently made offers to Vermont, Myru, and Greg believe that ordinary humans who are unawakened are unnecessary. She states that Astra was once one of them. Meanwhile, Kayden and Kayden's intense gazes suggest they are aware of these dark ambitions and their potential consequences. Jiwoo, his eyes wide with shock, questions Gestella, "What do you mean by unnecessary?" Gestella's chilling gaze reveals the terrifying truth. They believe that there are too many people on Earth today, and that at least 1/3 of the unawakened population should disappear. Jiwoo gasps, "Disappear? Are they saying they would kill that many people?" Gestella's calm, yet ominous reply, "If they had the chance, they probably would," confirms the horrifying extent of these dark ambitions. Gestella reveals the chilling ambition of Iador. He believes the awakened should rule in society divided into classes. Iador himself wishes to become the king of the world, a thought that leaves Jiwoo speechless. Meanwhile, Gestella admits to Kayden that she still doesn't understand why Iador and Garrus have joined forces, hinting at a complex and dangerous alliance. Gestella reveals that Garrus's sole focus is gaining power, with no other apparent motives. Meanwhile, the Frame organization, comprised of 3 members from the top 10, seeks to exploit the world's chaos for their own benefit. Gestella observes that they likely wouldn't care about the fate of the unawakened, leaving Jiwoo questioning if people truly think that way. Jiwoo forgotten how dangerous it was, only fooling himself because they were kind to him. He then probes Gestella about the Patrick family, and she reveals Vermont's deep loyalty to his family, prioritizing their honor above all else. This same individual believes the unawakened are necessary for the family's growth and influence, wishing to maintain the current system. Kayden, looking skeptical, questions the current state of affairs. Gestella, with a knowing look, confirms Vermont's deep sense of responsibility towards his family's influence over the unawakened. Elsewhere, Jiwoo, his eyes blazing with intensity, seems to be processing this new information. Meanwhile, Kayden, his arms crossed, chides Jiwoo for his surprise, reminding him that the awakened world operates on a different logic than what he's used to. Jiwoo, looking troubled, expresses his disbelief that the unawakened would be used or eliminated. Kayden, ever pragmatic, dismisses this, stating that normal humans have always looked down on the weak. Kayden, meanwhile, grimly notes that for their own benefit, people are already sacrificing countless others. Jiwoo is left speechless, struggling to comprehend this harsh reality. Jiwoo, still reeling from Gestella's revelations, turns his attention to Kayden, Kayden, and Pluton. He asks directly, "Kayden, do you also, like some of the top 10, think that non-awakened humans should disappear?" The animals react with a thoughtful HMM. Their expressions are serious as Jiwoo presses them for their stance on this disturbing ideology. The tension hangs heavy as they consider his question, leaving Jiwoo anxious for their response. Jiwoo still probe asking, "Or do you think that unawakened humans are insignificant?" Kayden, and Pluto listen to the question seriously, their face showing the grim expression. Jiwoo starts questioning himself about what if. Jiwoo grapples with the unsettling possibility of his friends sharing the same dark views, questioning, "If even those 3 thought that way, what should I do?" He wonders if he can treat them all the same. Meanwhile, Gestella's intense gaze suggests she's considering this new information. The scene shifts to Kayden and Kayden, who admit they've never considered such a grim perspective. Jiwoo presses Kayden, and Pluton about their views on the unawakened. Pluton finds the idea of eliminating people so disturbing it gives him a headache. Kayden and Kayden admit they've never really considered it. They're focused solely on growing stronger. Jiwoo, still processing this, asks what they want, but Kayden dismisses the question, stating his only goal is to get stronger. Kayden expresses his desire for a peaceful life, while Pluto reveals his ambition to defeat Kayden. Jiwoo then asks the animals if they share the top 10's views on the non-awakened. Kayden finds the idea of dividing people by their awakened status bothersome, but Kayden and Pluto seem more focused on their personal goals. Pluto dismisses the idea, stating it's unnecessarily complicated. The animals, looking unimpressed and somewhat annoyed, are then playfully tackled by Jiwoo in a sudden, affectionate embrace. Pluto expresses discomfort with the situation, while Kayden and Kayden seem more bewildered by Jiwoo's unexpected outburst. Jiwoo, overwhelmed, showers Kayden, and Pluto with an affectionate embrace, much to their surprise. Meanwhile, Gestella witnesses an exchange between them, as Pluto boasts about Jiwoo's strength. Later, a weary Kayden explains that Jiwoo's hug was so tight, he could only escape once Jiwoo finally fell asleep. Pluto observes Jiwoo, noting that Jiwoo has become stronger. Meanwhile, Gestella questions Kayden. Is your wish still the same? Kayden responds with a confused, "What do you mean?" Gestella then turns her gaze to Kayden, remarking on his behavior. "Seeing your behavior lately, it doesn't seem like you are still pursuing what you said earlier." This exchange hints at a shift in their plans. Gestella observes Kayden, noting a change in his demeanor. She recalls his past isolation, stating, "Before, you wouldn't let anyone get close to you, saying they were just in your way while you were fighting alone to become stronger." She continues, "And you lived as if you were consuming yourself." Gestella then looks at Kayden intently, concluding, "But looking at your current state, I can no longer see any of that." This hints at a significant shift in Kayden's motivations and goals. Gestella directly asks Kayden, "Do you still desire only strength?" Kayden pauses, then admits he's been contemplating something else, that perhaps it isn't necessary to always desire something. He seems to have found a new peace, realizing, and that this state of not desiring anything isn't bad either. Gestella observes this shift, her expression unreadable. Kayden shares his thoughts on Kayden and Pluton, suggesting they likely share similar sentiments to him. Then, a curious Kayden directly asks Gestella, "Gestella, what is it that you desire?" Her response is introspective and somber. "I have forgotten what it is that I desire." This admission marks a significant turning point, leaving us to wonder what drives Gestella now. Gestella admits she's forgotten her own desires, prompting Kayden to urge her to try and recall them, saying, "Then try to remember it little by little." He adds, "And when it comes to your mind, make sure to tell me." Gestella's intense gaze hints at a deep internal struggle as she processes this, the ellipses suggesting a moment of profound contemplation. Kayden, looking unusually contemplative, gazes intently at Gestella, who says, "I will," who herself seems lost in thought. The scene then shifts to Gestella and Kayden sitting together by a window, looking out at the night sky.